Hi, hopefully the glare from the window isn't too bad on this one. Megan here at Cottage Quilting. The other special that we're going to do this week is Schmetz Needles. Now you can see we are going through quite a few of our Schmetz Needles here with everybody at home sewing. We do have another order due to arrive today, so don't worry about the wall right now. We have lots coming. Schmetz Needles are really good needles. Any brand of needle really is really good. So we field a lot of questions about the Schmetz Needles. There's definitely differences in all of the needles. So you might find when you come into Cottage Quilting that our staff will start saying, well, what exactly are you doing with your needles, right? Like, are you changing them every time like you're supposed to be? Are you experiencing breakage? What's happening? So some of the biggest things that we get is people will call and they'll say, well, my thread is breaking all the time. What's going on? It's probably because you have too small of a needle. So if your upper thread is breaking all the time, what I want you to do is, of course, rethread your machine. We all know how to do that. And make sure there's no twists or knots in your thread. So if you're using the glide thread, it's truly true to its name, glide, and it'll just glide through. So we experience less breakage with that glide thread. And you want to make sure that the eye of your needle is bigger. If you find that your bobbin thread is breaking all the time, remove your bobbin thread and make sure that the area is clean. If there's a little bit of lint or anything like that in the area, it could be just catching on that little bit of thread and causing that breakage. It happens. And again, with the glide thread, it's polyester, so there's less linting. Now, when I'm piecing, I still do use a good old-fashioned Aurifil thread. I still like the cotton for piecing, but we're talking top stitching and everything when I'm referring to that. If you're getting skipped stitches, your thread tension is probably too tight. Your needle might be damaged. Maybe it's bent a little bit, and sometimes we can't see it with the naked eye, or we're using the wrong size of needle. When we're stitching quilts, we're usually using a size 100. So you have to think about the application that you're using. Schmetz does have a really good guide if you go onto their website, and I'll post it here in our newsletter as well, about tips and tricks and the size of needles and why you want to use needles. It's really not a selling tool. It's trying to make sure that your stuff is working to the best of its ability. If you're getting irregular stitches or stitches that just look funny, again, it's the wrong size of needle. If you're getting fabric puckers, the pressure of your machine might be down too high, like too tight for the fabric that you're working on. So you could decrease your stitch length. You could release your pressure a little bit. Maybe you need a stabilizer. Maybe you need to use an embroidery needle. So one of the other things too, like when customers come in and they'll ask for a quilting needle. So there, if you'll notice, Schmetz has quilting needles and they have top stitch needles. So the quilting needles are actually for piecing, and the top stitch needles are clearly for top stitching. But when you come in, you might mean that you're top stitching, and we'll say, well, are you quilting? Like, are you piecing or are you top stitching? And it's not because we don't think that you don't know, it's because we want to make sure that we want to give you the right needle. And so the difference is, same with an embroidery needle, they're just a little bit more rounded on the tip. So when the needle is coming out of the fabric, it pulls up on the bobbin thread and the fabric a little bit. But you want to be able to handle corners and speeds and turns really, really well. So if you're at home and you've run out of needles and you're top stitching, do you have some embroidery needles? That might work for you. That could be a really good temporary solution until you can get into the store and get some more. So we're going to have all of our Schmetz needles on special this week as well. And yeah, continue to support Cottage Quilting. So it's cottagequiltingonline.com, and we truly appreciate it. Thank you guys.